Anyhow, if you want to see us online, the webinar and Zoom information is available online. On Zoom, we've got Judy Scanlon. Hi, Judy, in the room. Why don't we just go around?
Mary Griffin.
Rich Levy.
Carolyn Audie.
Carol Etzold.
Ed Hafner. Hi, Judy. Bob Mullen.
All right. I believe our liaisons are in the building. We'll see when they get in. So let's start with the agenda item number 2, which is review and approve of the committee meeting minutes from December 18th. Thank you, Mary, again for jumping in.
My pleasure.
Any thoughts, questions, discussion? Motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So approved. All right, our next agenda item is the wastewater management advisory committee update, and then also including the update from the Mill Pond Community Meeting, which was held last,
January 22nd.
however many weeks ago. So Bob, go ahead.
Okay, we had both our regularly scheduled committee meeting and the public meeting on January 22nd. I'll start with our meeting. We covered, or there were discussions of updates on status of Phase 2 sewer connection, which I believe will be, could be substantially complete by the end of February, according to my notes, and that would trigger notice to connect within 1 year for everyone within,
As
property
a
owners within,
member of Phase 2, I received my pre-notice,
yeah.
so.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, it's no, I have it noted as, should be completed, substantial completion, which was pending a couple of tests at the time, should be by the end of February. Phase 3, construction, preparation, design has been completed, and it should go out to bid sometime this spring. And I'm not sure of the scheduling and the funding for town meeting, how that will plan out for construction of Phase 3. But it might take some time to get the bids, evaluate them, so, but that's made very good progress.
I assume we'd want some kind of idea of the potential cost in time for the spring
Yeah.
town meeting?
Yeah, and that's why it should go out to bid, I think, within the next couple of months. There's some, they've got it through DEP, there's some coordination with DOT because they're dealing with Route 28.
Oh, because
Yeah.
28.
So that's one of the things that's hanging out there, but, you know, it's been good progress.
Okay.
Phase 4 planning is in progress. AECom and Wright Pierce, I believe, are working on their scope of work for the design phase. So I think that should be also available within a month or two. And that the evening of the 22nd was the public meeting regarding the Mill Pond study. It was well-attended. I didn't get a total head count, and our committee hasn't met in the meantime to discuss it. So I don't think there's anything really new to report. There was a lot of discussion of different approaches, dredging of the inlet, and things that, you know, some things that didn't seem feasible or permittable. And there was further discussion of things like urine diversion toilets, IA systems and things like that that may be considered. But we are still, the committee hasn't changed from the recommendation of fertilizer controls, permeable reactive barriers along Deer Run, and aquaculture in Mill Pond. Those are still on the table for further evaluation as Wright Pierce and AECom finish up the study. And also doing a cost estimate for the sewers in the area. I think there was 30 or so homes, 30 to 60 homes, depending on the scale of what's evaluated. So that's pretty much it
Okay.
for wastewater management advisory committee.
Any thoughts? Discussion?
What are
Right.
the issues regarding
Sorry.
getting the sewers in that area?
Timing, I think is it phase 11 or,
Yes.
so it's down the
Phase
road.
11, so it's
Yeah.
quite a ways away.
Yeah, and also, I should have mentioned too, that the wastewater treatment facility will be at about somewhere in the 90 percentile, 95% of capacity once Phase 4 is completed, if they go through the full scope of Phase 4. So at that time, they'll need to evaluate or design expansion of the wastewater
Wow.
treatment facility. And a curveball came up in that too, that the state requirements for groundwater discharge permits have become more stringent. The tolerance is for mounding with discharge to the subsurface have become really tight and almost to the level that it's very, very difficult verifiably. If you have an impact of greater than 0.1 foot in the water table on adjacent sensitive property like a wetland, well, that's the limit, and if that can't be exceeded. So it can, it may require pretty significant investigation to evaluate that. And plus, you look at now, we're in a long-term drought, so, where is the water table relative to its long-term level? So it's, it is a complicating factor. I think some other towns have had some challenges with it.
Forgive me, but I didn't quite get that. I mean, the groundwater, what's the point? What's the worry about putting sewers in? And what can they do?
This is for the wastewater treatment discharge. Treated water is placed into wick drains
Yeah,
or on Lots Hollow, and it's discharged to groundwater.
but the septics are, you mean,
At the wastewater treatment facility,
it goes into Namscake,
it goes into wick drains
okay.
that discharge to the groundwater. It's up gradient from Nandscape.
Okay.
There's no surface water discharge, as far as I know. It's all wick drains to groundwater.
So is this something that's really terrible, or is it something that engineering can resolve?
It has to be resolved by engineering and hydrogeologic studies. The challenge I see is that the tolerance is very narrow in measuring groundwater at 0.1 foot.
It's like an inch.
Foot.
That's-
Yeah, it is an inch.
That's
It's a little less
scary.
than an inch.
Well, you're saying scary
A
things.
little more than
so-
an inch, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was just brought up at our last meeting.
Okay.
We'll get more information on it.
Okay. Well, that'd be something.
Just a clarifying question, and then I have a fact to add. I assume the wastewater treatment plant, which is already up and running, has an existing permit. So how does the standards getting stricter affect that
For expansion,
for expansion?
yeah. You'll have to.
As new phases are added, or?
Yeah, I'm not sure what the next, what volume or rate of discharge will be. I think now it's like 250,000 gallons per day or
As
something.
we add more volume?
You have more volume, you have to expand the permit.
Gotcha,
And I don't know how much of a factor of safety
yeah.
you can put in for, additional discharge.
Right. And then just the information I wanted to add is I did get a call from a Orleans citizen, Charlie Carlson, who was concerned that, that the meeting on Mill Pond wasn't accelerating sewering of that area as quickly as it should be. And, wanted to know if I or this committee, had weighed in on the order of the phasing of the sewer implementation. And I told him that I personally did not feel that I had the knowledge or information to be able to change the order in which the town is planning to sewer different areas, and maybe the wastewater advisory committee or the select board would be the best people to talk about. But I just wanted to make you aware that request of us had been made.
And that was obviously one of the topics of the public meeting was, accelerating that. And my point being now with the expansion of the wastewater treatment facility, with the little more of a challenge with the groundwater discharge permit associated with that, just, kind of puts another logistical challenge into changing anything with the sewers.
Well, the good news is that over time, whatever is happening in Mill Pond, once the issues are addressed and the sewers are in, it can reverse itself and become healthy again. I think we all can see that. And of course, everyone wants that to happen tomorrow, but in reality, these things are being staged. I think the sewering effort's not going to be done theoretically till 2067 is the number in my mind, as I remember it. So that's a long time to go, and we're going to have patience. And I know they're choosing, at least what I can see so far, they're doing the downtown area, which obviously was necessary first, and then 2 was to do the phase 2 to address the Mill Pond, the Meeting House,
Meeting House, yeah.
Meeting House Pond issues, because that's where the Pleasant Bay estuary is least affected by tidal wash, and therefore most polluted and needed treatment right away. So that made sense. Phase 3 is going to address not only the issues further along Pleasant Bay Road, Pleasant Bay shores there, but will address the freshwater pond issues with phosphorus. So you can see why that was chosen as 3. Beyond that, I don't know why 4 or what's going on with 4, but I'm assuming that your committee or the one the WMAC are doing, so far what I see, a good job.
A lot of it's driven by the Pleasant Bay watershed permit.
Yeah.
So that's prioritized Pleasant Bay. And I'm not sure what percentage will be of the properties within the Pleasant Bay watershed will be sewered by the end of phase 4, but phase 4 is a big chunk.
Yeah.
So it's going to be pretty far along then. And then I don't know if that's a time to reprioritize, because the prioritization, the phasing, was well before my time being involved.
Yeah, another question related to this is, what I don't remember when the sewer treatment plant was being discussed initially is how many phases needed to be included, because all of a sudden, and maybe because I'm getting older and time is flying by faster, it seems like 4 phases wasn't very, it seems to go by awfully quickly. And it seems like they're going to run out of space before I think they should have. Or, in other words, was it planned for just to hold projected amounts of wastewater treatment for 4 phases? Or are we eating through that volume faster than anticipated?
It was before my time for when the planning took place, but I think, they were reasonably expecting to expand the treatment facility. That was in the overall adaptive
Okay.
plan.
So this isn't a surprise?
No,
that
no,
it's-
and I think
Okay, that's.
if anything, with updated and improved monitoring of water use and discharge to the sewer, I think, if anything, I think that would create a little bit more capacity,
Okay,
because the
makes
water,
sense.
the water use records up to, until recently, or they're still there, until they're recently being, the process is being revised and updated, I think we'll just get better data moving forward than we had in the past.
Yeah, and our finance committee would like to spend the money carefully and not all at once, but, I mean, all of this is expensive, so it's gonna be spread out, and so you don't build up maximum at first, you sort of go gradual, and I think that's what you were referring to.
Bob, may I ask a last question? So, according to Charlie Carlson, it'll be 40-plus years before they get to Mill Pond, which, I agree is unfortunate. It is an impaired water body that needs help, but Phase 11 is a ways off. These fertilizer controls, aquaculture, and permeable reactive barriers, PRBs, is there any current estimate of what percentage of the problem they could address in the interim if it takes that long to sewer the area?
Yeah, and I don't have it well, I may have it in front of me, but Wright Pierce and AECom have looked at percentage nitrogen removal based on,
Right.
each of those measures. Obviously, not much with fertilizer, but it's a reasonable measure to undertake and should be undertaken. And also the PRBs on Deer Run will be down gradient from an area that's not planned for sewering. So those will complement the sewer once it gets there. And I have to look up I think you figure about 3 years per phase. So that would maybe shorten up the estimate of
Right.
that amount of time, since we're going into phase 3.
Just a quick aside, so I live in the area that was originally known as Phase 2 Extension along sort of the backside of Meeting House Pond, and then it was decided, based on a lot of good reasons, I'm sure, to defer it to Phase 4, and the Phase 2 Extension people got a notice, we did, to connect the sewer within the coming year, thinking we were still in Phase 2, but I think most people in that area knew it was a mistake. Anyway, mistakes have been made. Tony has a question.
So, Tony?
Along the way, I've heard that there are other ways of mitigating the nitrogen, and so that may get involved before we reach the end of the sewer phases. And I think only the next phase has officially been designated, and the select board has to think about that. And as I say, they're looking at other developments in handling the problem.
Yeah, there's been some discussion, like the urine diversion toilets, that there's being more information. There's a pilot program, I think, in Falmouth that will generate data for that. It's just, I see those things as helpful, but very hard to make a requirement for people to install.
Not gonna be a lot
Very
of
difficult.
volunteers.
Yeah, very difficult to
See,
mandate.
You're the scientist. I'm just trying to figure out how we're going to pay the bills.
Well, thanks for the report, Bob.
Thank you. Any other thoughts, comments? All right. The next agenda item, we're going to table for now, and we're going to move on to what we're calling our committee booth. Winter Farmers Market, and OPC Family Fun Tent planned for the spring. Rich, do you
Sure.
want to?
I don't know, is it Peg or Mia? Can I put up a file, please?
Sure thing. Have you brought the file with you?
Yes. The PDF. I think I tried to load it.
Is it on the computer in the Nauset room?
I'm going to put it in the computer here.
So what Rich is trying to upload is the
I have
poster that he's worked with, remind me her name?
Okay.
Well, with someone who did the original poster in the, in our Celebrate Our Waters, no, what's the name of the
OPC,
OPC
Celebrate Our Water. Yeah.
publication? Had a great
Bulletin.
poster, and what Rich did was refine it a little bit in a way that we thought was a little bit cleaner. There you go, Rich.
Okay, a little background, a little more background. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, if you remember, we, in last June, like June 7th, I think it was, but last June, and we may have done a second one too. I think you may have done it at the farmer's market
We did
later
do it in the
year.
fall.
We had a booth, and we talked about that for quite some time, and we put together sort of a combination of things. Part of it was attracting additional volunteers, and Valerie May was the person who did a lot of the work on setting it up. As part of that, we ended up having at the farmer's market, I think we had a video showing volunteers and so forth. We also had a video that was put together regarding the Pilgrim Lake Herring Run, where we took images from a number of volunteers and that was put together into a loop. And we had one of our volunteers, Leslie Kalinowski. She is a videographer and also a sampler, and she was present at our booth. And that was very successful.
Yes.
A number of people found that to be very useful. In addition, in the June, and I don't know about what you guys did because I wasn't there for the farmer's market, we also had kind of a wet demonstration of some of the equipment that we use for the water sampling. And in the background of that, we had two images. One was the groundwater map that everyone has seen. It's usually, I think it's still in the lobby downstairs, or it has been. And we also had a picture that came from a SMAS document. It was really a map, a pictogram map that showed most of the water bodies in Orleans. And at the time, we talked about the fact that maybe that diagram, so to speak, or map, wasn't what we really needed to have conversations with people that were at the booth, that we needed something that was easier to point out those water bodies and talk about some of the characteristics of them. So we talked that maybe what we would do is simplify that map or find another one somehow. Recently, the OPC updated the blue pages, and as part of that process, one of the individual, Wendy Schofield, who was a designer, decided that instead of that map or a similar map, that they would just put together a pictogram of the water bodies in Orleans. And she came up with something that's similar to what you see on the screen right now. And that diagram is juxtaposed in the blue pages so that it talks about ponds and lakes. And it's easy to go and look at that without getting distracted by roads and things of that nature and other markings for trails and parks and things of that nature. They were trying to get it to where it was simple. So she came up with this nice design, which that a modification that you're looking at now, and that design shows the relative, it's painted as relative as possible in terms of the actual acreage of each of the ponds or lakes. And she chose to use various colors just to enhance the experience of the reader. In addition, there were some markings on it with some general information. And I had talked to some of you on the committee about, once that came out, and I may have actually sent you guys a picture of that, that I thought it would be good if instead of the map that we were using, which was, the resolution was not so good either, that if we went ahead and talked to OPC and see if it was possible to get a modification of that page in the blue pages. And through the management of OPC and the designer both agreed that they were willing to put it together, a revised version, which had some of the characteristics that we talked about, including, and I think it was the most important, was if you were trying to use the blue page diagram, none of the ponds or lakes were in relative position northeast, south, and west of each other. And so as you're looking at the diagram, it became a little confusing if you were trying to say, you know, Pilgrim and Crystal are juxtaposed between one another. And some of the ones that are down below, like Shoal and Deep and so forth, that there's a relationship geographically to them. So I challenged her to revise that document. We also updated some of the information in here, and I think Carolyn had requested, or one of the committee members requested that if there was cyanobacteria testing, let's note that, because it could be a point of conversation that we would have with people who are interested in water sampling. So it would fulfill our need for getting samplers for the ponds and lakes, but it would also help with the cyanobacteria potentially, that be a point of conversation. So what you see in front of you is the revised version. What OPC said is that they're willing, we're willing to put the time in, and Wendy was willing to put the time in, providing we have the logo of OPC on that. So they're kind of donating this to the team. And I've taken steps to make sure that the original of this is a sufficient pixels or dots per inch, whatever you want to call it, so that when it gets blown up, it's going to look good. We're going to be able to read it, and maybe not from a great distance, but you can picture, a 4x6 or whatever we end up core board with this on it. So I sent this out to you guys just to kind of give you a preview and see if this still is something we want to pursue. Take a look at it, see if you see any things that don't make sense to you or might be incorrect. And also if you had any other comments. So I did receive some feedback, some pretty simple but questions you might have is you'll notice Carol asked about the coloring. And the coloring is randomly chosen. Basically, the designer, chose certain colors to be similar. There's really no particular rhyme or reason to it that I know of. One of the things I talked to about the designer is whether all of the great ponds should actually be the same color, for instance, or should we actually have photographs embedded in the shapes of the ponds to make it more interesting and things of that nature. And she just felt for our purposes that it really wasn't worth trying to explain to people why there were different colors here. The shapes are in fact virtually identical to what you would see on a map, so that hasn't changed. And now what she's done is her best job of laying this out so that at least on a northeast-southwest basis, the ponds and lakes are relative to each other, as you would see if you looked at that same map. But if we were to get, and the other thing is she chose shades of a color that they felt was appropriate for water and so forth, but not something that would jump out so much that one lake or another would be popping out, even though you might say, for instance, Baker Pond being the darkest color, that might be the one that comes to your mind immediately. Other people may see something else here. And we also agreed to put in a northeast, southwest logo, which you can see, which is in the, as you're looking at this, it's in the right lower area there. So there's also a geographic reference. So if people want to know, oh, so where are these ponds and lakes, relatively speaking, in the town? This actually maps it out pretty well. And the northeast, southwest gives you an idea that the top is north and the southeast, west is appropriately from there. So I don't have a good answer for Carol other than this is a professional designer, and I think, you know, it really doesn't matter that much unless people think it matters.
I was just looking at the colors and said,
There's no code.
what do they mean? Am I missing something? And I spent an awful lot of time trying to figure out if it was depth or something else.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But that's just me.
But I think it's an easy answer. The answer is there is no,
Right, but once I know that, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
but
But we kind of went through that, and I have to admit, we didn't go through and used, we thought about acreage, but that's easily recognizable by the surface area that you see for each one, so that didn't make any sense.
are the sizes in proportion?
They are,
Okay.
yes, as proportional as I think you can get on that. I think, Ed, you had a comment?
I want to comment, are they all blue?
They are shades
Yes.
of blue.
Shades of blue, so great.
Oh, I forgot.
Colorblind wings out.
He asked me and I couldn't
Not
answer.
green.
So what does it look, what does it actually look like to you? It's a very good
Are they
point.
shades of
Well,
gray?
I saw shades there, I didn't make anything of it.
Okay.
I just thought, oh, well, it's artistic
It's a very good
design,
point.
you know. I didn't
Yeah.
really try to find meaning in it.
Very good point,
As
Mary.
long as it's all blue, it's okay with me.
Yeah, or shades of gray or
Shades of blue,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. It does, the blue is nice. I mean, it feels like water.
Green would be terrible.
Yeah, yeah, and it, you know, it's a kind of,
Especially in this day and age.
I think, although it's, blue is kind of a colder color, this doesn't come off as being really cold, I don't think. But that would be another thing. It would be relatively easy to change it. You know, we'll probably have a couple of the OPC people look at what we have in here. But Ed, you had a comment about the cyanobacteria, which I thought was interesting. Do you remember?
I was, because it changes, and we want this poster to be something that we can use for years, but we may be testing more of them for changing. OPC changes periodically which ponds and lakes are tested. So this would become out of date very quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I said too.
So maybe remove, I don't actually see it necessary to be on there. I also feel it's somewhat the same with, what else was I feeling? The alum treatments. I would leave those off as well.
Oh, okay.
Because that could change.
Yeah,
Well, we
Baker
need
might get
more,
one.
more could be
To
coming.
me, I thought that was really important because we want to be able to, you know, if that conversation comes up, at least now, again, to your point, another 6 months from now, or maybe 9 months from now, maybe there'll be a difference to that, right?
And
Yeah.
how many times will the map have been used before that?
So
Once,
I
twice?
think the.
Doesn't
it
seem
wouldn't-
worth it, 'cause-
It wouldn't entail a cost, probably from the OPC point of view, of having the changes made, let's say, next year. I can't say that for sure, but I think, I would hope the board would agree, and whether or not Wendy would be willing to do it is another question without a fee. So that's one possibility. The only cost that I could see, and right now, I doubt there's going to be a change in the cyanobacteria testing for this year, but it could be. So that would be the one that I would be most concerned about. Does anyone else feel that a alum treatment is important to put on here?
I do. And I think it's also a point of discussion. It opens up that discussion.
That's true.
And to be honest, if it changes, you know, for one pond or another pond in the near future, it's easy to say this was printed in 2026, and as, you know, in May, in September, whatever the change was, we added, you know, such and such a pond. You know, Baker or whatever else happens, Boland, you know, there's stuff we've got pending, so.
So if, for instance, we already talked about this, so if, for instance, at the town meeting in May, there was approval of the alum treatment for Baker Pond, I'm not sure if that's going to occur in enough time to get that done before we have to be concerned about.
Jumping ahead
turnover
a
and so
little
forth.
bit, that is
Right.
George's plan.
Yes.
There's
we don't-
way,
we don't
way
know.
too many unknowns.
And then we won't have the results from the phase 2 of the Bolin Pond until later here. So it's unlikely that if steps were taken there, and I don't know that alum is a good choice for there, but if there were going to be steps like that proposed, that certainly wouldn't become, I don't think, a possibility until after the fall meeting. Yes?
Right.
A question and a comment on the alum treatment and the cyanobacteria. I mean, does someone at OPC or their designer have to like add a line to add alum treatment if, yeah, so it's really the designer cost, because printing a poster is like $20, that's nothing, yeah. So it's really updating the
Correct.
poster.
Yeah, and again, they've been very gracious at OPC at saying, we'll do this, we're getting some they're getting some publicity here too, and it hasn't taken that much time, but it's really Wendy's time to do this, because I'm not sure anyone else.
Okay,
do it.
so,
Oh, Judy's raised her hand.
I didn't get to make
Well,
a comment, I've been waiting.
I would like to just say, if you're going to leave the the alum treatment there, a date then, like,
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think
20
that- I was gonna
whatever.
say
Okay.
that same thing.
and then that way you'll at least have the historical accuracy.
Okay.
And it will add to it
The
too as
whole
well.
Poster at the bottom as
That could be two.
of blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, also, I'm not quite done, alum's
Doesn't either.
misspelled here. We need to spell alum,
Yeah, I
A-L-U-M.
know, I saw that.
Okay.
It's not an onion, it almost looks like onion. Allium.
Allium,
Yeah,
May I just
we're not
finish my
treating them that
comment?
please,
before
go ahead.
So my comment I was going to make was just being more a person of the land. I think it's great that you put this east, west, north, south
Yes.
in proper orientation. But to me, it would be really even a more useful document if it were like a handout or a poster to have on the flip side a map, and that each of the ponds have a number, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you turn it over and you see where they are in the world. You know, that, to me, as a reader, that would, because I look at this, I'm like, I think I know where Gold Pond is, but, you
Yeah.
know.
That's a good idea, and
yeah.
maybe just a few key roads,
So
like
I
Route
guess
28 and Main Street.
Right, so that, well, so, answer your question, I went over, the original plan that I had was that I'd work with Wendy to install or put in a transparent mode, like on iPhones, transparent underneath here, the roads, and so forth. But when she started thinking it through and stuff, she said it was not gonna work from her perspective. Now, if we wanna do this as a handout, that's another story, and that would mean I'd have to, we can do it, but it wouldn't be the primary goal for this, but it's not necessarily a,
But even the flip
That
side
image-
of a poster could be just a map of Orleans, and you could have
Well-
Pilgrim is number 1, Crystal is number 2, and then just have numbers, and they
Yeah.
correspond to the front.
Just get another
pretty
map
much the
to put
same
up
way
next
that
to it.
Yeah,
OCT
like that,
marks.
like an OCT map.
their-
on the map we had numbers on it as well.
Yeah, so I've got that, so I think that can be done separately. So let me just, all right, so do we need to take a vote on the cyanobacteria?
Well, I'd like to
or
get
not?
Judy's comment
Oh, yeah,
before we do
okay, go
that.
ahead, yeah.
Judy?
Thank you, Carolyn. I'm at a disadvantage because the print is small and I can't see what's actually contained on the map with the ponds. Even now, I can't read it, it's blurry, so you don't have to bother enhancing it. I'm just curious, does it also indicate which ponds the town has completed management plans
Ah,
for?
yeah,
Because if not, I think that's an important piece of
I
information.
like that.
As well as their completion date, just like the alum treatment. It shows the town has been very proactive in its freshwater pond management efforts, and it shows that it would tell somebody there's probably more scientific information on those ponds if they wish to, look at the management plan and
Okay,
so that was my comment. Thank you.
okay, that's good.
Nice idea, thanks.
And I had one other question, also for clarification for visitors or for viewers. Is water access means what? Swimming? Why can't we just say swimming? Because fishing is listed separately, and you sure need to access the water to fish. So, because otherwise, I would think anything that said water access, are there only the swimming ponds that list water access? Technically, Baker Pond is not technically a swimmable pond,
Correct. But it has water access.
but,
And that could be debated too.
and,
Public.
but it has fishing listed. I think that's,
Well, it's a state fishing access point.
but
It is, yes.
it's, but yet it's not consistent with what is said on the other ponds, and there's nothing that says this pond is using state rules.
I'm not sure, but I would worry a little bit if we use swimming, that people would expect a lifeguard to be there. Water access is a little.
That may be, but
Yeah,
then we need to change water access to what's accessible. Water
Yes.
access,
Maybe if-
fishing,
Public access, can you do that?
but fishing is,
Yeah, leave it at off,
Maybe just drop water access, because if you have fishing
yes, it's,
or.
yeah, that would do it.
or the other way around.
Okay, so I guess there's a question about, they're using the term all water access.
Yeah.
What is the proper term? I'm not
Because
sure.
Right.
reading that would make me think that somebody could walk through the woods and bushwhack their way to
I might ask the Board of Health. this
Harvey's
question.
or something and go
Okay.
swimming.
Yeah,
Wouldn't public
Because it
access
says it has
carry
water
that?
access.
Use the word public access. That means there's a public beach or landing or something like
But
that.
then that means a
Which means
beach
you
which
have to take it
implies
off.
swimming.
No, it could be a public landing.
They're not publicly.
I think just leave it off. Because which ones don't have, do they all have public access?
No,
I think it would be nice if the public knows.
Yeah,
the ones that were left off here, so this, the list actually was based on what was put together for the OPC website. So I'll go back and see if we can confirm some of this with the,
it's just, it's mushy wording, and maybe there's no way around that, but it may give people wrong impressions of certain things that are allowed or aren't allowed.
well, I think to your point, the water access, and Mary mentioned there is state fishing in Baker Pond, but that implies you have to have access to the water. So maybe the water access part is answered by virtue
And it's
of what the
okay,
activities
because
are.
it doesn't say swimming, but then maybe the
I
ones
think
that
the
say
swimming,
swimming should.
swimming beaches, we definitely want in there because
Yeah.
they're official, right?
Definitely.
And I would get that list. I would think the Board of Health knows the official designated
to them.
swimming area.
See what they
And I know this because I used to be head of the agency. The Baker's Pond is in a state designated fishing and boating access point, and they
Yeah.
own land there for that purpose and only that purpose.
Right,
So that's something different than what most ponds have.
right.
Maybe a bullet needs to say state fishing, or state fisher, something that it is state and the other ones are town, because that's the only one in New Orleans, I
As far
think,
as I know, I don't know.
that's state managed
what do you mean by state managed?
for only fishing and
No,
for non-swimming.
Some of the town landings, I think, I don't know, they may be,
Yeah.
I don't know that that's.
I don't know, it just seems,
Crystal is docked.
yeah, but,
Oh, she's got her hand up. She can maybe gonna answer the question. Go ahead,
go for
Judy.
it.
I was just gonna say, and Mary just touched on it, just go with the official town landings. There's a map the town has, and it shows the freshwater ponds also, I believe, Uncle Harvey's and others. So I think town landing is probably a good, it's an official town landing.
Designation, yeah.
Yeah, and.
Good idea.
the exception is Baker because it's a
State
state fishing
landing.
landing, but it's still, you know,
But it
So
still
it-
says fishing, so it's covered.
right. But the others, like, Uncle Harvey's Pond has a town landing, and there are, Crystal has a town landing on the Route 28 side. I think you'll pick up, and that sort of covers your water access.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'll work on this. We have time. So
Sorry.
purpose, oh, this is great. No, the purpose, well, we want to do it right. The purpose of this is to be ready for June. I think it's still going to be called Celebrate Our Waters, but there's going to be a fun tent. Now, the reason why we're able to have a booth there is that we're going to focus on the herring run. So the plan would be to do the same or similar to what we did before, perhaps working with Valerie and/or maybe even with the town to, and maybe enhance that video. But the fun tent is all going to be about living creatures, or critters, as some of the people have said. And that the focus is not going to be similar to what it was last year, where there was a lot of other types of activities and focus. Now, I think we'll do our best to sell our volunteer opportunities there. That doesn't mean we can't use this. I think we should, but the focus for it will be on that. And then there may or may not be an opportunity in the fall, depending on what.
Well, we also have talked about being at Farmers
Farmers
Market
Market.
again, and we did want to do it
March.
before June.
Was that March
So we
or-
wanted to do, well, we were talking, we never really decided whether we do March, which is when it's still inside, or
Right.
April when it moves outside.
Yeah,
So I would like to have it ready
yeah.
for one of those times, and March
So-
is quickly approaching.
Yeah, it is. So I guess the question is, when is that? And we need to make a decision.
Well, let's see what the potential timeline is for getting this ready.
Yeah, I think it's more
And then we
answering
can
the
make a decision
questions
next
here.
month.
I think it's answer the question. I think this can be done and ready to go in this month. I don't think that'll be an issue, as long as we can resolve some of these questions and compromise on what's there.
From
Kind
a,
of nice to do it, if you could do it indoors as a kind of pre-test,
yeah,
particularly for volunteers.
Yep.
Okay.
okay.
And wait, let me look at the agenda for a second, because there was something else on there, wasn't there? Let me just make sure. Yeah, so that's basically it. There's still some discussion amongst the board members at OPC on exactly what Celebrate Our Waters is going to be going forward and what type of activities are there. But at this point, I do have a commitment that we can have our booth, which will focus on the herring run in particular. And I think it's going to be early June, but I don't have a date yet. So it's either the 6th or the 13th, I think. Okay.
My memory is that it was later-ish June last
Yeah.
year.
It was June 7th last year.
7th?
I think so.
So I'm very wrong.
Yeah, I think
Okay,
so. I think so.
All right.
Hopefully I didn't look back another year when I did that.
that's all
but
right.
Yeah, so I don't think they've decided that yet. I don't know if Ed, if you remember, but from seeing any of the stuff at the board.
I still think it's all up in the air a bit.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. That was very useful input. Thank you, Judy.
Thanks for working on that, Rich.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, we can take that down.
So, moving on. The next item is the chair committee meeting, and the last one was on January 14th. The discussion was, as I've asked all of you, whether to do your conflict of interest training. I know you've had some issues trying to get into it, Carol. Conflict of interest.
I did, it
It
did
worked.
work out when they finally got me the new
Great.
link.
Okay, good.
So I'm done.
Great. And so,
List,
there's,
yeah.
and the other discussion was about the warrant articles, and they handed out a schedule which I can make a copy for anybody who needs it, when, you know, the warrant is open, it is open now, when the select board starts reviewing it, when it goes to the joint meeting with FinCom, and then when the warrant goes to print, which will be April 10th. So key dates is that it's already open, and I'm kind of jumping ahead to the next item, which is the warrant article for the May town meeting. We already voted in December that we wanted to move forward with the article for the Baker's Pond alum treatment. I spoke, or I emailed with George and asked him whether, you know, he needed anything additionally from us other than the fact that we had voted in favor of moving forward with it. And he said he's already got what he needs, and he's working on putting together the warrant article. It may be lumped with other things, combined with other items like, you know, funding for Cedar Pond and Lonnie's Pond, respectively. We'll see. I've asked him to let us know as soon as that's ready so that I can bring it forward to you all, and we're aware. And also so that we can be present when the select board chooses to discuss it. Now, the first date that the select board could start looking at it is February 11th, which is like next week. So I will be keeping in touch with George and making sure that we are all aware. And so that's that on the warrant article. Nothing, we don't have anything else. That will be the only warrant article that we've got. Tony,
Could you repeat what the amount?
can you please, sorry.
Oh, no.
Could you repeat what the amount for the Baker Pond ask at the warrant
The-
office?
What George said, thank you for bringing that up. George said that it will be higher than it was last time for Crystal and Pilgrim. He's putting in the budget, of course, he doesn't know till he puts it out to bid, but he's putting in the budget for 80,000.
I think it was 70 before.
It was 70 before.
So theoretically, 70 is already set aside for us?
No, because it never went to the town,
But-
to the voters in fall.
It
Yeah.
was just requested but not voted on.
So it hasn't been voted on. So never even made it to the select board last year for fall.
Oh.
Okay,
You do item 6.
Hmm?
Did you do item 6? Item 6, sorry. Trying to be subtle. Did you go over item 6?
that's what I was sort of combining 6 and 7.
Oh,
I
okay.
started with 6
No, I did,
because
that was all.
the calendar
Oh, that was it for the chair's
was-
meeting?
and the conflict of interest.
That's it?
That's it.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're so efficient.
And then the other was, that I wanted to make sure we discussed was the warrant article, so that's 6 and 7 combined. Any other thoughts, questions, comments? All right, we're also tabling number 8, and so moving on to announcements. I have a couple and then see what everybody else has. So here it is,
Can I
February.
interrupt just a second?
Sorry, go ahead.
We skipped item 4. Why did we, I thought we were coming back to it. We're not?
No, tabling it, meeting not for today, we'll maybe bring it up at another meeting. We've decided that this is a topic that we're not bringing for the Marine and Freshwater Quality Committee to discuss.
It's on the agenda.
Yeah, so we took it off. We basically.
Oh, who
said
took it off? We didn't vote on that.
No?
You didn't vote on the agenda either.
Could you just give us a brief update on where this stands and
Well,
why
we
we're
haven't-
moving it out.
And who's "we"?
So basically, I don't want to go into details because of some other considerations, but Carol and I we had planned on speaking with the health department first, and we haven't been able to do that, and we have gotten an appointment with them, which is after this meeting. So we want to talk to them first, because it's not clear who is responsible. We've already had the discussions internally of who's going to be responsible for this and making any decisions on the part of the town. And so we want to make sure that the request, it goes to the right place.
Okay,
Yeah.
but can we make, I know you tabled it, but I wanted to make a remark about it. Would that be all right, or do you really want to not have me remark on it? It's a friendly remark. I wouldn't be too scared
Well,
of it.
there's two other things.
Yeah?
So you and I are both on the OPC Board of Directors.
Yeah,
And so I guess we have some
recuse yourself.
interest in this subject.
yeah.
And I guess the question is, should we even be engaged even in the discussion of it at this meeting?
Oh, you mean conflict of interest?
Right, so that's one of the
We've been
reasons.
trained for that.
So I'm trying to be, yeah,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. That certainly, we want to be careful there, but
Yeah.
I can state, I don't care one way or the other from an organizational point of view. It's just a logical point of view that's
Yeah, I
going to
understand.
make me decide one way or the
so we're
other.
gonna get some clarity, and then, whether we should even as a,
The only statement I would like to make publicly at this time is that I noted that somewhere in the past, we had calculated a number for how much money our volunteer efforts have saved the town, and I believe the number was $160,000 by getting volunteers. So it didn't seem unreasonable to me to consider this request, which is maybe a few $100s. I don't think it's a lot for
it's, I think the
a
number.
pond or two. It might be 1,000. I don't know exactly
More
what it
than
would
that,
be.
actually, yeah.
Yeah, so whatever it is, I don't think it compares to.
And I also don't have the exact information which we will need
Yeah.
in terms of what's required for equipment and so forth.
Yeah, no, I get.
You can help me with
I
that.
get your concerns, and I'm fine with tabling it now that we've had a brief discussion. about it.
It's likely that there's some likelihood it'll reappear next month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. Sorry.
All right.
You guys should figure out whether the people that are also on the board of OPC should just leave while that discussion is going on.
Correct. Which is why I decided in a discussion to table that for now. Yeah.
Well, I think recusing yourself is a personal decision. It's not one.
It is, but there needs to be, we don't really have enough information right now to move ahead with this discussion, in my
Yeah.
opinion. So I talked to Carolyn about that. But thank you for your input.
Kind of is a great lead-in to one of the things I wanted to talk about on the announcement section, which is that we still have 2 associate member vacancies on this committee. And so I'd like to challenge everyone to go out, think about who maybe some of your friends are that you've been doing water quality testing with, people you know who have some good experience from their work experience. But let's try and get some new people. We are, we just discussed about how 2 of this committee members are on OPC, 3 of the committee members are on OCT. So, a board of trustees, so let's see what we can do to expand and get some new folks involved. Tony?
Here.
Could you guys go through a little bit about what background or experience that would be ideal for someone who would like to be on the committee and hears this. It may not be that everybody needs to have the degrees and experience that you guys have, and I would be, but still could add value. I don't know, but I think that if you mentioned something about that, it would be good.
That's a great comment, and I would agree with you. I think what we need is a variety of people with a variety of experiences. And some of us are scientists, and that's a great background to bring. Some people have education experience, which is a great background to bring. Some just have experience with water quality testing, and so they've got a passion for the subject, which is a great background to bring. You know, my background is sort of kind of none of the above. I had the passion for the subject, but my background is not in science or engineering or education. But I had a knowledge base of water quality testing in Orleans that I found helpful. So, yeah. We want to, as some members roll off, Rich is going to be rolling off this year, and, you know, maybe it'd be great to have someone with a, you know, science/engineering background, but it doesn't have to be. Wouldn't it be great to choose, have to pick?
Interest and enthusiasm is
But-
probably the most important thing.
Yes.
But also, you're overlooking yourselves, management,
Yep.
and basically how to manipulate people, in a word, and legal, and, you know, I mean, you gotta get people to do what needs to be done, and that comes from.
Organization.
Organization, well, that sounds better. But those are huge skills that not everybody has.
Right,
So,
all right. Good point. So, that's my challenge for the next few months. Another thing for a future agenda that I'd like us to be thinking about is, it's been a while, best to my knowledge, that we've looked at our charter and our goals. So I'd like to, you know, take the time to do a quick review and see if anything needs updating for the coming year. Anything else?
Oh, I had one thing. I think I forwarded, I don't know if I forwarded to both you and Rich about the EPA water quality monitoring app. I attended a session on that, and it's something we could look into to see if it makes sense to use. It's a nice, or it could be a nice central location to store our data. Seems like when I'm trying to find data, I'm always looking at different spreadsheets, trying to chase it around. This would be one common location.
Do you remember when you sent that? I don't remember. Was that the, yeah.
I'll check and send it. I think it was mid to late January.
Yeah, I know I have the one thing on the EPA. I didn't realize there was an app involved in it, though. Okay, that's fine. That's great. We can, no reason not to forward it to everyone else.
And just another comment, I think next time we should start just gearing up for training for the spring season of water quality, pond sampling, PALs, right?
Yes, definitely that will need to be, we'll need to start thinking about that in February. Yep.
maybe it's for February, but herring count.
Yeah, Judy and I are already on top
So
of that.
you've already got, you're on top of that already.
Thank you.
It'll be good to know, kind of get an update on the status of repairs to the herring run.
Yeah, that would be good.
Yeah, we always talked about maybe when Nate, if his time permits, having.
I'm
him
sorry,
come.
what?
I know.
We talked about having Nate come in
Okay.
and talk
Right.
to us about the, you know, the
Okay.
process and
Thank you
timeline and where
for
we
reminding
are.
me.
I was going to work on that. Yep.
All right.
How do we stand with the volunteers? Do we have enough? Do we need a lot more, or what's the status?
I think we always need more volunteers, you know, particularly it seems to me, the PALS, the pond sampling, which we do in the early spring.
And I would advocate, I would really love to get somebody else on our committee to organize that, if someone could volunteer,
Right.
organize,
We're
rather.
doing the estuary sampling, which is like 54 people, and it'd be great if someone else was willing to organize right now we have about 10 people that do the pond sampling, but we could use a few more. Some people have aged out of that or, you know, kind of said they didn't want to do it recently, so we could use some new blood there.
You have enough boats and everything? I mean, boats.
Yeah, I mean, I
people
think where we,
Volunteer that have boats that can take people out for the estuaries?
Estuaries, we are always looking for people in Nauset Estuary. We have a lot of Pleasant Bay boaters that are available, I think. But in Nauset, we could always use an extra boat or two, because when you know, if every captain is available on a sampling date, last year we were good, but when somebody was traveling or couldn't do it because of something important, we sort of sometimes had to scramble to get, you know, somebody that was sampling somewhere else to come over to a new place. So, you know, if you know anybody with a boat that keeps it on the Nauset side, that would be great.
yeah, my feeling is that we've got, I would call it just enough. You know, we can scrape by, we can make it happen. We had some great help from Nauset Marine this year in Meeting House Pond. They were able to take us out and help for the second half of the season when we lost our boat captain for the season. So that's the sort of thing that it'd be great to get a little bit more so that we've got backup and we're not doing quite so much scrambling. And I'll say it out loud, it's an aging population. And so, you know, we need more.
I know the Volunteer Appreciation Day that you guys set up last year was nice, but maybe we could do that as a way to, way to get people in.
Pull them together.
A volunteer, are you interested? Come to our, I don't know, pizza party or meet us somewhere for, you know, a gathering, learn more about it.
Well, part of that is why we're hoping to get to more farmers markets,
Yeah,
to
That would be a great
really
place. yeah.
wave our flag and say, come
Yeah.
on down and see what we're doing. It sounds like OPC Fun Tent will be a little different this year, but still anything that gets us visible and we can, when we're there, we have the opportunity to speak to anybody and everyone.
Yeah, when we did the farmer's market last year, I remember how annoyed I was when people would drift by and I would say, and I would try to draw them in to, you know, look at our stuff, and I say, have you heard of us? And so many said, no, who are you, you know, like, and I thought, Jesus, we need more visibility than we have.
Was that too far into the summer where more than
When
half
was
the
that,
people
when
are
we did that?
visitors?
It was late in the summer.
And it may have been,
I think it was
well, I wouldn't-
August,
yeah.
See, that could be,
September, yeah.
we need to do
That's where
more
we wanted to start
late shoulder
in the spring.
seasons, like end of May, June, because then enough people are coming, but they're
Right.
still mostly local.
Right.
And then starting Labor Day weekend and after, for the next couple of months, while there are still significant numbers of local people coming.
Right, and I think the other thing about farmer's market is we have to remember that's not only Orleans people. Our volunteers tend to be Orleans people for obvious reasons, because we're
True.
doing Orleans water. But, so the farmer's market does have a broader group of people who come to see it. But I think, and I did forget to mention Community That Cares, which is a group of groups, representatives from various different groups that are environmentally interested, that are working with Amanda Converse in the town manager's office. And we had a couple more meetings. We are, in general, getting more oriented. Rich and I are on a couple of the committees, the Communication Marketing Committee as well as the Policy Committee. You'll probably be seeing something more about plastics and putting together some policies to do a little bit better job of restricting and then therefore communicating the use of plastics and thinking about plastic for takeout and so forth.
This isn't perfect timing, and it may not be an appropriate time to do this kind of recruiting, but at the end of the summer, it's like the last Wednesday in August, the Orleans Police always has the closed Main Street and then the family fun night, basically.
Right.
And that's gonna be mostly Orleans people.
Yes. Yes.
That might be a really good place to be.
I think that's a great idea. I think we kind of talked about it briefly last year, and we weren't fast enough. So that's a great idea to bring up now.
And I hesitate to bring it up because I would participate, but I don't want to figure it out. How about a float in the 4th of July parade? Talk about visibility. If they didn't know we were here before, we'd know then.
Yep.
That's a big effort.
And that's a huge thing, but it could be kind of fun and
I wonder, the Orleans Yacht Club, is anybody here a member of that? I'm on the waiting list, which is rather lengthy now. But it seems like that would be a good place to advertise the
idea.
need for volunteers, because they're kind of boaty people.
Great
How
idea.
about asking one of the businesses in town that uses the water to make it their theme to keep the water quality, because they're all interested in it, and they have to come up with some theme in the parade, and they usually put a float so they can get their name out there, but they might, I don't know anybody at these places, but you guys do, and asking them to see if they could do something about maintaining the quality of the water as you guys do it, as a way, so everybody doesn't think it's just sewers.
if nothing else, they've got trailers.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, Nassau Marine and Goose Hammock.
Announcements still? We
Yes.
still on? So I want to thank
Maybe
all of
Aries
you,
Pond.
I want to thank all of you for your feedback on the annual report. I did get Bob's today. I want to answer one of his questions that he had. Thanks very much for the edits you made. That's very, very helpful. He asked why I didn't include the Crystal Lake alum treatment, and the reason was that we did not go over the report that I could find during the year
Okay.
on that. We went over into the committee, the Pilgrim Lake one-year report. We didn't do the Crystal Lake. So I left that off for that reason. Originally I had it in, but we didn't get to it. So unless I made a mistake, that would be why I wouldn't include it,
So
but I
if
would
that's another
include.
agenda item, we need to,
Yes. Yeah, there's two more. There's also this, I think, did we go the Cedar Pond one? To look, did I put that in here? Yeah, we did do that, but we talked about waiting till next year to have any more meetings on it. Yeah, so I probably would leave it out. I'm trying to get this down to the 2 pages here, which is turning out to be a challenge, of course.
and I did send you something this morning, so I don't know if you've
Oh, you
seen it
did?
yet.
No.
It was very small.
Okay.
So I just want to finish a little bit about the Community That Cares. There is a discussion in those meetings about having a group table at the farmer's market that is always there. And that the different groups take turns manning it.
Idea.
So, you know, if we get on a regular rotation to man that table, that gives us another opportunity to be out there more frequently.
Yeah. Good.
Okay,
And by the way, when we talked about the fun tent, there's no reason why we couldn't have simultaneously the committee over at the farmer's market.
Yeah.
So we'd have the herring piece there, and then we'd have the volunteer piece over there, and we could be sending people back and forth. And then that's maybe a better use for the poster than having it at the fun tent, because we don't really need it there. We can have some other stuff showing pictures of fish and things like that in the back.
we can still, and we had talked our last meeting about having the postcard, you know, so we have an updated postcard can be in both places and other pieces of documentation. If we put this, you know, on something that we hand out with a map on
Sure.
the back, that can be in both places, so. All right,
Okay.
anything else?
Public comment?
Public comment? All right. Is this one of our shorter meetings?
Nice
Success.
seeing all of you.
Good to see you,
Nice
Judy.
Too, Judy.
Take a motion to adjourn?
Second. I'm sorry, motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.